So what I want to know is if you have never been a part of a scientific research, you've never been questioned, right, about yourself, about points that you've heard scientific research about. So for example, it might be a statement like for somebody like me that says 40% of females aged 20 to 30, right? So I'm a female aged 20 to 30, right? I mean, I'm saying this to you guys as a scientist and as someone that's done research, right? Why do you believe these stats so strongly? Like, because it's one of these things that really bothers me that people do, like, and just kind of look like there's some kind of intelligent, is like, oh, I'm going to quote these statistics. But I'm like, first of all, you weren't even a part of that statistical research. So who was part of it? And this is what I'd be thinking about, because if I now, right, I could decide to say that based on my views and my videos, and let's say that my audience is 100 people. If 50% of people like my video, and I'm talking about why, I don't know, blue cheese is the best cheese, for example. I could say that studies have shown 50% of people believe that blue cheese is the best cheese. But that's not accurate, is it? No, because it has to include more people. And this is the thing about scientific research. Majority of the time, I know this, it takes a lot of funding to do scientific research. And like, someone has to decide to do the research. People have to be brought together. Normally, those people have to also be paid if it's properly ethical, unless, of course, they choose that they want to sign up for free. That research data has to be produced, and all of that has to happen for this to be considered statistical research. So I'm just getting sick, basically, is the long and short of it, of people talking about scientific research or the statistics showing all this stuff as if there's any reason for us to trust that this is accurate, a genuinely accurate representation of society as a whole. Is it a genuinely accurate representation of whoever was involved in the study? Absolutely. But there's so many variables that come into it. Like, I've said some of this stuff before, like, where are all these people from? Because if I make a study, so I'll give you guys a perfect example. It'll be like me being in London and saying, what is the number one bakery place that people buy their breakfast goods from, for example? And the answer would be Pret, right? Because in London is the only place in all of England, right, that Pret is where people go to Pret more than they go to Greggs. Greggs is like a bakery. It's like a casual bakery. And Greggs is number one basically everywhere else. Every other place in the United Kingdom. So it'd be very easy. If I now go and even if I took 100,000 people in London, right, I could say, I could say scientific studies have shown that Pret is the number one bakery in the United Kingdom. No, scientific studies have shown that out of 100,000 people that was sampled from London in the United Kingdom, Pret was their number one choice. And this is what I'm trying to say about the sleight of hand of the devil, why I don't trust science, I don't trust pharmaceutical industry, I don't trust anything. Do I love the industries? Absolutely. I work in science. I love science. I literally love it, right? So I'm not trying to say not to trust, not to take it into account or to use it as a way of evaluating things. What I am saying is, simply put, as I said at the start of the video, if you yourself have not been in these studies and yet these are the same studies you're living by, how does that make any sense? Because somebody and some group of people basically is being used to speak on behalf of either your group or your type of situation. Who even knows? Like, I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about this for years, like how if the Lord wills, one day I'll have my own scientific research lab and I'm going to go and do a lot of my own hypotheses in a very different way than I see a lot of other hypotheses being done, to test some of these quote unquote things that we've accepted in society as just the statistical whatever. Because I'm like, well, I haven't been asked any of this, but I'm being told this percentage of Black women are this, or this percentage of young people are this, or this percentage of just women as a whole are this. And I'm like, okay, I ain't never been a part of that study. I ain't know nobody part of that study. And like I said, these are the limitations of science. And when people will critique somebody like myself for giving just my personal opinion and things to think about and giving you guys food for thought and say, oh, where's your proof? Where's your this and that? But you'll go and trust a scientific study that you don't even know how many people they did those scientific studies for. There's so many of the, even just the studies. I'll give an example, like of the women's health, for example, is one of them that's guilty. That will do these big stories about statistically it's proven, this is where we get all this superfood, this, that, all of that. Yeah, a lot of that, if you go and look at the actual scientific papers, right, it's like they've asked like 100 people from one town in like Oklahoma somewhere once upon a time. You know what I'm saying? If there's not the necessary like diversity needed to make the conclusions for certain things. So I just want to say, and then there's also certain things that happen on purpose for a reason scientifically. So like sickle cell anemia is common in Black people. The reason why black people develop sickle cell anemia as part of a survival trait is because it goes against malaria. So the malaria, like I don't know if it's a virus, disease, or whatever it is. I think is it a disease? I don't think it's a virus. It can't bind with sickle cells. So Black people who had sickle cells in Africa, sickle cell anemia, they survived more when there was things like malaria around because they had the adaptation of their blood cells, obviously making them a sickle shaped as opposed to the normal spherical shape of the red blood cell, and that's why. You see what I'm saying? So again, I'm like, there's just always missing context and missing things. And I don't know. I just wanted to just add that because I don't know what I just heard. I heard some kind of statistic. Oh yeah, some guy was saying how a statistic about, I don't know, whatever it was. It's not important. I don't want to get into it because it's its own whole topic. But I was just like, it's so funny how people in society really trust in science, like blindly, like the way you should actually trust in God, when there's so many clear concerns to have. And I'm not saying that it doesn't matter. I'm not saying science, the research doesn't show us anything, right? Because obviously if you do something and you can prove it, then there's something that's at least worth addressing. I'm just saying, maybe let's not look at science and scientific research and statistics as some kind of like intellectual confirmation that like whatever you think is definitely right and you're more educated than the person next to you just because you read some study that you haven't even read the scientific papers from. You haven't even looked at how they did the research. You just heard that the governmental official society of such and such said that according to us, according to the World Health Organization, all of that. You haven't even looked at the research yourself and the data. Because all of this stuff, you can actually find the scientific papers yourself. Even Google has its, I believe it's called, is it called Google Journal or Google something, where on Google you can specifically search scientific papers. There's like a little subsection, like how you can choose like just images or just like whatever. Yeah, you can do that as well with scientific papers and journals on Google, right? Even Google. So we need to be looking into stuff like that, because meanwhile you're giving yourself a pat on the back. You're sitting there pridefully with your chest held high, sitting on your high horse of self-righteousness, thinking that you're better than everybody else, right? And think that you're more intelligent because you believed in a study that if you go and find out it was done on 10 people in Venezuela in 2005. Like this, I'm just saying. Anyways, you guys, if life's a game was pay to win, just thought I'd drop in that winning strategy. I was just chilling and I just thought, after I heard this and how people are so quick to like back up their own points with statistics, I'm like, and where did those statistics come from? Who did them? How many people were tested? What was this expansion of like, what was the range of the number of people that were tested in this thing, and age and culture and whatever? How were the people that were brought onto the research even done? Because again, I think that alone, there's certain types of people are already going to be more likely to sign up for scientific research than other people. So I think a lot of people who just wouldn't sign up for scientific research for whatever reason, they don't see the point, they don't understand what it's for, they don't have the time, the incentive isn't worth it enough. Those people are not accounted for. So realistically, what is it at the end of the day? And I'm saying, anyways, I just wanted to quickly drop in and say that if life's a game, it's paid to win. God loves you, I love you, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.